Every movement here is intentional, a search for the perfect frequency, carving out the character of the sound, one precise adjustment at a time, then returning to the center of it all, to listen. Sometimes you just have to wait for the mix to breathe. The craft of sound is a slow burn, but when it clicks, it's magic. Let me tell you something I've learned after years behind a mixing desk. Music, first of all, is a void, a silence. And our job as producers isn't to fill it at all costs. It's to fill it the right way, with taste, with intention. Because one note placed badly does more damage than 1,000 silences. Making music today is different from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 2. Artificial intelligence has walked into the studio with us, and we can pretend it doesn't exist, but if we do, we're out, cut out. The train leaves, and it leaves without us. So yes, we have to accept the change. We have to. But, and here comes the important but, we can't forget where music comes from, where we come from. Our musical culture, our history, the masters who wrote long before an algorithm existed. That knowledge doesn't download, it doesn't generate from a prompt. It's studied. Music has to be studied, always. Scales, harmony, groove, ear training, that stays ours. Walking back toward the mixer, AI is a tool. And AI? AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's a tool. We manage it, never the other way around. The moment we let it lead us, we've lost our signature. We've lost the soul. The void is ours. Let's fill it well. Sometimes we sit down to write a song because someone asked us to, because there's a deadline, because we just want to. And we think wanting it is enough. But inspiration isn't a command. It doesn't show up just because we ordered it to. So let's try anyway. Sit down at the piano, pick up the guitar, open the notebook. It's right to try. But if after a couple of attempts, what comes out doesn't convince us, and we feel it in our gut, not in our head, then it's time to get up. Let's leave it there, the idea that doesn't want to be born. Let's go for a walk, go for a swim, open a book, watch a film, call a friend. Do anything that isn't that thing. Because here's the secret nobody tells you. The idea arrives precisely when you're doing the opposite of what you should be doing. In the shower, in the car, as you're falling asleep. The idea doesn't ask permission. It's bold. It interrupts you. And when it arrives, the real work begins now. Because an idea at the start is like a child. It needs to be cared for, raised. It needs time, attention, patience. We can't expect it to be born, already grown. But there's a second trap here, and almost all of us fall into it. When the idea has grown, when it's ready, we keep touching it. We think we're perfecting it. We add a sound, change a word, shift an accent. And every time we take a step back, not forward. Raphael, the great painter, once said, "The true artist is the one who knows when to lift the brush from the canvas and does it, even when the hand still wants one last stroke." If you want to emerge in the world of music, you need to have taste. It's not optional. It's your identity. Your taste won't please everyone. And that's okay, because there will always be an audience that shares your taste, and they will follow you. But here's what happens. We often think only and exclusively about technique, and technique is cold. It doesn't give you taste. Take Eric Clapton. Incredible taste. If you listen to him, he plays the guitar in a very simple way from a technical standpoint, but a unique sound, unique taste. Same with David Gilmour. Then there are virtuoso guitarists, brilliant ones, exceptional ones, who also have great taste. But we need to translate this across various aspects of music. Whether you're a guitarist, a pianist, a drummer, an arranger. And when you arrange, that's where you see the real taste. Because you have to bring together many different kinds of knowledge. But the real taste, that shows in what you don't put in what you take away. Take Quincy Jones, perhaps the greatest producer of all time. He was a brilliant trumpet player. Yet in the most famous Michael Jackson albums, there are almost never trumpets. Why? Because he was serving the music, serving the artist, not serving himself. When you work for an artist, for a production, you don't need to show how brilliant you are with your instrument. You need to show that the work is balanced, that there's study behind it, that you know many structures, many harmonies. Maybe you're creating a song with just 2 chords, a simple harmonic progression. But behind it, you need to feel that you know advanced harmony, that you can do many other things. You don't have to show your muscles on purpose. You need to let people know you have them, but that you don't always need them. Elegance is in what goes unsaid. When you work as a producer for other artists, for music that isn't yours, you need to understand one fundamental thing. That record won't be yours anymore. It will be theirs. They're the one putting their face on it. So you need to know them really well, not superficially, deeply, because you're impersonating something that isn't yours, and you need to reach inside it with respect. It's true that the artist chose you. They chose your taste, your way of making music, because they like it, because it's close to theirs. But that doesn't mean everything you create will be okay. Fundamentally, you have to learn to erase yourself, to put your ego aside. I tried. I created a strings section, a beautiful recording that I loved so much, a sound I adored. And the artist listened to it and said no. They're not satisfied. They feel uncertain. In that moment, you have 2 choices: insist or listen. Your duty as a producer is to stand your ground. Say, I think it works. These strings have a reason. Try it one more time. But if you feel that the uncertainty is real, that the artist really can't go with it, then you need to be good at changing course. You need to show them that you're flexible, that you can put aside the romance of your ideas. And I removed those strings. It was hard, because it wasn't just a technical recording. It was sounds I loved, an idea that belonged to me. But what I learned is this: you don't have to stop loving it forever. You have to stop loving it temporarily. You have to have the strength to set it aside, because nothing really gets thrown away. Those strings, they came back later in a record of mine, where they could finally be, where they could breathe. The lesson is, when you're serving an artist, your ego needs to wait. But your ideas don't die. They transform. They move. And often, when you put them back in their place, whether it's the right song, the right moment, they sound even better than you imagined the first time. We put into art what we breathe, what we live. If we live a romantic, sweet situation, this reflects in what we do. If we live stress, illness, pain, this also enters the music. The same goes for the place where we are. The air we breathe, the city we live in, it's all a mirror of us. And we are a mirror of that city. Today it's no longer necessary to live in a big city. New York, Los Angeles, Paris, sure, it helps. But what really matters is feeling like you're in the right place, feeling the right air. Because when you walk through your city, your neighborhood, you need to feel inspired. And this is not a rational choice, it's a sensation. I've traveled a lot. In New York, just by looking people in the eyes on the street, boom, an idea arrived. A record. Very 70s sounds. The New York of the 70s. What those people would have been like back then. In London, a glance at the posters in the underground, boom, another idea. Inspired by a great musician, by other great musicians around me. A new record. Probably these ideas would never have come to me if I'd stayed at home, because traveling expands the mind. It relaxes it. And when the mind relaxes, the pores open. New air enters. Ideas come in that wouldn't if you stayed fixed in the same place. But there are exceptions. Ennio Morricone loved staying at home, walking through his city, and he created incredible music. The same with Beethoven. So it's very subjective. But I think what matters is this: breathing the air that feels right to you. If we feel good at home, we stay at home. If we feel a big city calling us, we go. If a small city nourishes us, we stay. But every once in a while, I think, varying helps. Because the city is not just the place where you live. The city is your mirror. And every different mirror shows you a part of yourself you couldn't see before. Boredom is a creative condition. It's not an enemy. It's not something to defeat or fill quickly. It's a space. When you're bored, ideas arrive. Suddenly, without being called. But the problem is we live in an era where silence has become rare, where we're always surrounded by people who talk, who seek our attention, people to whom we ourselves must give attention. We've learned to think out loud, because silence is frightening. Sometimes someone talks to me, and after a few seconds, I'm not listening anymore. It's not rudeness. It's that an idea has struck me, and I'm already thinking about something. An idea that was waiting to emerge, and that conversation freed it. The person thinks I'm not listening to them, and maybe they're right. But in reality, I'm creating. It's not beautiful toward others, but it's true. Because solitude sharpens the mind. Comedians in solitude develop great jokes. Musicians in solitude discover new harmonies. Writers in silence find the words they were looking for. Boredom is not a phase you have to get through quickly. You don't have to seek it. You don't have to bore yourself on purpose. Boredom is spontaneous. It arrives when you least expect it. But when it does arrive, here's the point. You don't have to chase it away. Don't fill the moment. Don't turn on your phone. Don't seek distractions. You have to observe it. Live it fully. Stay in that empty space and let it teach you something. Because it's there, in that emptiness, that the most beautiful ideas arrive, the most unexpected ones, the most yours. Working as a producer often means being in the same space with artists, musicians, collaborators. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, you know them better. You understand what they want, what they're looking for, where they want to go. They can help you. They can give you immediate feedback. You need them. The drummer, the bassist, the guitarist, they're physically there. But on the other hand, the room becomes noisy. The glances, the comments, the suggestions. Try this, try that, do that. And every word, every interruption is a small cut on the canvas. Today, remote work has shown something important. Some producers love working alone in their room. No one watching them, no one suggesting things. Their creativity emerges complete, without filters, without compromise. Because creativity is intimate. It's not for show. It's not meant to be seen while it happens. It's a moment that belongs to you and to what you're creating. I've fought many times in the studio. I've kicked people out. And it's part of the game, part of the work. It's not a weakness, not a lack of professionalism. It's that when you're touching something real, something of yours, any intrusion, even well-intentioned, can trigger a reaction. Anger in the studio is normal. It's the signature of passion. But anger is also dangerous because it can compromise relationships, because it can compromise a career. Because once you say the wrong word, you can't take it back. So what I've learned is this. The initial creative phase must remain yours. Create alone. Protect that moment. Create an intimacy with yourself and with the music, without witnesses, without judges. Then, after you've built something, when it's already a form, a structure, a solid idea, then call the artist. Call the manager, the collaborators, refine together, improve together. But the creation is intimate, and respecting this is not selfishness. It's protecting the space where things are born. You need patience. Patience with yourself, with doubts, with fears. Patience with artists, with their insecurities, their needs. Because when you recognize that creativity is an intimate moment, you understand that fights aren't personal. They're collisions of two intimacies that can't occupy the same space at the same time. And then you learn to manage them, not to eliminate them, to manage them. Most producers at the beginning think that saying yes to everything is the right way to become important. The more projects you accept, the more clients you meet, the more work you have. Simple logic. But it's wrong. Because when you say yes to everything, you're not becoming important. You're becoming generic. If I'm specialized in neo-soul, in R&B, and I'm asked to do EDM or house music that's not my genre, I have to say no. Not because I couldn't learn, I could, but because saying yes damages me and the client. There's a fundamental difference between being versatile and trying to do everything. Being versatile means deepening your genre and then expanding within that musical family. It's conscious growth. Trying to do everything means believing you can do pop, jazz, neo-soul, techno, all at the same time. And that's fragmentation. Think of a doctor. If you go to a doctor who knows everything, cardiology, gynecology, oncology, orthopedics, you don't trust him. Not because he's not intelligent, but because what does he really know how to do? What is he truly good at? When you go to a specialized cardiologist, you know that's his world. He's studied that thing for years. He's seen hundreds of hearts. He knows every nuance, and you give him total trust. The same applies to music. When a client comes to you because they know you're specialized in neo-soul, they come with specific expectations. They know it's your territory, that you know every detail, every nuance of that genre. But if you accept projects in house, pop, jazz too, then the client wonders, but what is he really specialized in? What does he truly know how to do well? And that question costs. It costs you in respect. It costs you in credibility. Saying no is protection. It's protection of your image, your professionalism, your specialization. It's also protection of the client. Because if I accept a project in a genre where I'm not really good, the result will be mediocre. And mediocre damages them before it damages me. I've learned to say no. Not always, not to everything, but to what isn't mine. And every time I say no, it valorizes me more. Because I choose my path, I defend my professional identity. Doing everything is not an advantage. It's a trap. Specialization is not limitation. It's excellence. Since AI arrived, I don't work less. I work much more. Differently, but more. When AI came, it seemed that we producers would work less. There was an assault. Powerful tracks, beautiful, new, made in minutes, published everywhere. People who had never made music in their lives started filling the platforms. And the major artists, the labels, started to rebel. Rightly so. Because they were being cloned. Not just their voices, but the very way they make music. Their genre, their sound, their identity. So it's right that we're looking for filters, rules, limits. But for me, the reality is another. AI is giving me production ideas I had never considered before. A string movement I would never have written on my own. A particular sound that emerges from the demo I submit to it. A direction I hadn't anticipated. And when that happens, I don't take the AI-generated stem and put it in the track. I almost never do. I take it as a spark, as a provocation, and then I play it myself with VST libraries. Or even, when I can, I record it for real, with real instruments, real musicians. Because for me, AI is not a replacement. It's an external collaborator that suddenly walks into the studio. Someone who offers you infinite solutions you hadn't thought of. And from there, something different is born, something unexpected. This means more work, not less. Because every idea that arrives, I have to translate it, recreate it, make it mine. AI accelerates inspiration, but it doesn't replace execution. And execution, today more than ever, is what matters. So my position is clear. We have to collaborate with AI, not be replaced by it. Let it enter the process as an intelligent guest, not as the master of the house. Respect it for what it can give us, and make ourselves respected for what we are. Because in the end, when the track is finished and someone listens to it, they don't care who had the idea. They care about hearing a soul behind the sound. And that, for now, is still only ours.